All right, my friends, why is it that we spend less in retirement? I think that's, for me, the debate is actually not even out there anymore. I think the numbers are pretty extraordinary in the affirmative that most retirees consume less in retirement. And that, thus, the idea of using the old 4% rule or adjusting each and every year with inflation for your consumption. I don't buy that anymore. And so reading the audio and the video I just did wasn't that great, and I apologize for that. My mic I guess after a while they just blow up on you. But so reading the stuff from Richard Thaler, again, he's won Nobel Prize winner for the study of just economic theory when it comes to a consumption. It's just all kinds of stuff. I'll let you read Thaler. Wonderful. In fact, the backstory behind Thaler is incredibly interesting. All right, then of course Gary Becker has won Nobel Prizes for this stuff. It's nuts, man. It's just wonderful. But Thaler's stuff, I tell you. So his premise was that we spend less if our income is derived from assets as opposed to from income. And I am telling you, that makes so much sense when you think about it. When you have an income stream, i.e. you have money coming in on a regular basis, you're going to be more inclined. Wait one second. Let's make sure this guy saw that guy coming. All right, you see that guy? Oh, whew, that was scary. All right, I saw the guy about ready to get hit by a car. Anyway, when you have income coming in on a regular basis, you know that you can spend that money because the income's going to come in. Now, I know you say, well, what happens if you get laid off? No, I bet there's some people worry about being laid off, so they might consume less. But I bet most people, like I did, will say, I'm just going to spend because it's coming in. I'll worry about if I get laid off, my consumption at that point. So you work and you're spending, you work and you're spending, you work and you're spending. All right, so you have this income coming in from your job. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that income stops. And your only income is derived from either your pension or your Social Security. And generally, most of us don't have pensions anymore, and most of us have Social Security. But Social Security, as we know, isn't enough for most people. As we say here today, previous to their retiring, the Social Security doesn't replace 100% of their pre-retirement income. Now we know that. So you're saying to yourself, my other source of income is going to be derived from what? Well, it's going to be derived from your assets, the amount of money that you've accumulated, that you saved, that you want to grow. And I think a couple of things happen in your brain that says, okay, for every dollar of assets I spend, that is $1 that is no longer accumulating growth. So if I spend $100,000 and the market returns 7%, that is $7,000 is my opportunity cost for spending the asset. Does that make sense? Because I've spent them. I've consumed them. They are gone. And that is going to put a damper on people's willingness to spend the same level that they were before, because they're like, the assets are declining, and on top of the assets going down, so now let's just say at $300,000, I just spent $100,000. So now not only do I not get that 7% rate of return, and thus I missed out on $7,000, so I only made $14,000, but now I've depleted my asset base by $100,000. So I'm actually out $107,000, because not only did I miss on the $7,000 return because I spent that $100,000 and I missed the 7% return on that $100,000, but I no longer have another $100,000 in which to get that 7% rate of return. So now I've out $100,000 plus the opportunity cost of missing out the gain. I think that would have a huge impact on your thought process of your feeling of assurance and your ability to spend money. I just think it'd be incredible to think about that. When you think about it like that, like, am I going to consume at the same level I did when I had my job, be it a crappy old job or otherwise? Or will I be a little bit more diligent in my consumption because I'm concerned about losing money, i.e. is now gone, and I do not get the growth on that money as well? And again, as I sit there today, I just looked at me, man. I mean, I knew when I quit my job, my crappy old job, I was going to need to take out my assets in order to fund my my business. And that's a whole different ball of wax, man. I'm telling you right now. When you look at your portfolio and you see it declining by a certain amount, and then you see the market also increasing by a certain amount, it's a bad. You're in a bad place. You're sitting here. I mean, I'm telling you right now. I knew it in 2017. Everyone initially, because Trump was elected, said, the market's gonna go down. But well, I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about I was spending money from my portfolio, and when the markets went up with 28%, I had taken money out of my portfolio, and thus I missed out on some of that. And on top of that, my portfolio was exhausted by the amount I took out. And as I say here today, I'm going to get some gas right now. Well, I got to spend money on that. Where's the income come? Well, it comes from your portfolio. And I'm telling you, it's a whole different dynamic of saying, send me a check, IRA, regardless of if it's 10% penalty or not. Send me a check so I can put gas in the car relative to having the income stream. So anyway, I find this to be ingenious, without question. And no surprise of mine that this would be Nobel-winning theory. Absolutely. I'm going to dive in this deeper too, because there's got to be more studies on this. Just think about it from your own perspective. You're retired. The income stops. Are you now more or less likely to want to tap into your IRA, 401k, whatever, which means it'll be exhausted and maybe never to come back? On top of the fact you got to pay taxes on it. On top of the fact if you're under 59.5, you have to pay a 10% penalty. On top of the fact that you're going to miss out on the opportunity cost, the growth potential. It puts it in perspective, doesn't it? And that right there is why I'm unequivocally, I believe that's the case, why people spend less in retirement. Not because they're forced to, because of a shock to their income other than retirement, but because they're hesitant to, because they don't want to see their nest egg decline. And so because of that, they're forcing themselves to tighten their belts in some capacity, simply because they just want to make sure that, hey, if I never get another job and this is all I got, I want to make sure some of that money is there for the future in case a future risk happened where I needed the assets. I don't want to, I'm not going to be as frivolous on my spending, let's just put it that way, as I was before. And I look at myself, I used to order a bunch of crap on Amazon, a bunch of crap. I don't anymore because I don't have income coming in. If you don't have income coming in, you're very quickly going to say, yeah, I don't think I need that after all. Anyway, something to think about. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.